All right, y'all know what to do. We should be back in the building here for another day. Oh, let me double check this. This is kind of loud. Let me adjust that real quick. Man, shout out to everybody who's in the building. Hopefully y'all are doing well. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. And welcome back to another YouTube live stream. We're gonna have a great show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the chat. Y'all make sure you check out the Patreon. We got some watch parties coming up. I'm excited for those. Should be doing them in the next couple weeks. We've got the Karen Reed movie we're gonna watch. We've got the special from TMZ on Nick Reiner. So a lot of great things coming up. But before we get into the show, we've got a lot to cover today talking about ICE. I know y'all are probably sick of hearing about ICE. We're going to talk about Mike McKee and the person who allegedly murdered his ex-wife and her husband. We're gonna get into that. Candace Owens. Man, y'all, when it comes to Candace, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go team Candace. It's starting to get crazy out here. We'll get into it in a second, but before I do, I have to say what's up to the people who make this show the great place and amazing place that it is. Of course, y'all know, first thing, we gotta start with the beautiful, awesome, amazing Amy E is up in here. Mr. Brown's in the building. We got Virginia Wiley, Jay Buckmaster in here. Oh, make sure y'all go subscribe to Amy's channel as well. The link is in the description. Go support Amy. She's got amazing content over there. All right, come on now. We've got Virginia Wiley in here. Jay Buckmaster. Mary is in here as well. Good to see you back at it, Mary. Hopefully everybody is doing well on this Thursday afternoon. Now, before we get into the show, y'all know I'm going to absolutely and unashamedly beg for you all to like the video. All right, likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video, the channel, this live stream with more people. And there are nearly 200 plus of y'all that have liked the video. Thank you guys so much for doing that. If you're feeling extra generous, you can share out the video as well. Just click the button that says share. It's got an arrow that's curved pointing to the right, and it'll allow you to share the video not only to Facebook, Instagram, and X, but you can share it to your group chat via text message, or you can send it out to that individual that you know they ain't doing nothing right now, so they might as well stop by the show. Tell them stop on by. We're gonna have a great time here. All right. So make sure y'all do that. I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show as well. So thank you to everyone who goes the extra mile and sends in super chats. Specifically, shout out to Mary over there. Always working hard. Mary be all over the place, man, but she became a new member. Shout out to Mary for becoming a gold member. If you haven't checked out the members only content, make sure you do that. We got a lot of members only content for you, and we're going to have a lot more coming up here soon this year. So make sure you check out the memberships, you get your name highlighted in that beautiful green, and you get instant access to all the videos and content we drop here on the channel. So thank you, Mary, for becoming a new member over there. Shout out to Mr. Brown in the building as well. Mr. Brown's in here, just left the doctor's office. Was praying for that, Mr. Brown. I saw you posted in the chat earlier. Hopefully everything's doing well. Go Dina in here early in the morning. What's up, man? Amazing artist. Such an honor to work with this dude. He came over here because I'm supposed to be working on a project for him, and I haven't finished it yet. Go Dina, I got you. I promise. All right. Before the end of the week, it's going to happen. You see, we working over here. Shout out to Godina. If y'all haven't checked out his music, make sure you do that. Absolutely amazing, talented artist. Honor to work with him as well. Good to see you in here, brother. We're going to go ahead and get into it because, as I mentioned, we've got a lot to cover. And the first thing we're going to cover, oh, man, I did not think I was going to be one of the ones to make this video. And I know people are probably going to start saying that I took the check. I got the call. Listen, I was never officially Team Candace, but I was this close. I was this close to being officially all out Team Candace. And, you know, I support Candace and not only her acumen as a journalist, but her ability to uncover and call out the truth. So I will say that I've got a lot of respect for Candace and what she does and how she has used her platform to bring light to a lot of things that regular folks, just like you and me, have questions that we want answers to. But on this last episode, I didn't even watch it, to be honest. I saw some clips of it and I knew we had to go and just check this out and hear it for ourselves. Because when I first heard what Candace had to say about Charlie Kirk and his history as a kid and a Project Looking Glass that I'm sure maybe many of you have heard about, we're going to get into here in a second, I said, man, this might be my time to take a break from Candace because I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. We're going to listen to Candace talk about This whole situation with Charlie Kirk, him growing up, it gets wild. I'm not even going to try and explain it. Y'all do me a favor. Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat and go support Candace. I'm not going to play the full live stream. I'll leave a link to this live stream in the description for you. Hold on. It's about to get wild.
I promised you the CIA's Looking Glass project. Now, we briefly touched upon this at the end of last episode. Obviously, I'm a conspiracy girly, and I'm thrilled that we get to dive a little bit deeper on this topic for those of you that don't know.
Okay, so thank God Candace is prefacing this as this is a conspiracy conversation. So just keep that in mind, all right?
The first thing that I want to remind you guys is exactly what I said at the top of the show. It is an absolute fact that Charlie Kirk thought that he was a time traveler. He told me he was a time traveler repeatedly. I showed you guys that.
I'm never texting Candace Owens. Candace, love everything that you do, but I'm never going to text Candace Owens because I could say something to Candace and it'd be out there. This is crazy. Charlie Kirk thought he was a time traveler. Man.
That text message exchange. I said to him in response that I didn't feel the same way and that I thought I was from another planet, that I was an alien my entire life. Just do not get it here. This planet is ghetto. That's how I feel. I don't understand it. The rules don't make sense. I think that's also why I like cats so much. I feel that they can relate to that. They think humanity is ghetto. They don't want to be around us. They don't like us. They know it's ghetto. It is ghetto here, right? Well, another bizarre fact.
I will say this. As a believer, I do believe we are somewhat aliens here. It is the way that works. I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to God. I think we were brought here from another place through birth. And when we die, we go back or we go somewhere else. All right. So again, I'm going to let this play.
Fact is that back when Charlie and I were running around, we met in 2017, top of 2018.
This is real.
So I would say, obviously, Turning Point was an organization, but it wasn't the organization. It wasn't this behemoth of an organization that it became. No, he had no real degree of fame. I think that's fair. But he was required to have security on him at all times. That was orchestrated. His security, Schaefer Security, was orchestrated by Bill Montgomery. He has since passed, the late Bill Montgomery, and he was from the military. He founded Turning Point USA with Charlie. Charlie wanted to go to West Point, and then instead started Turning Point USA when he was 18 years old. Thinking about
Smart
that,
guy.
the security, him texting saying, I'm not allowed to go anywhere, I feel so important, I think was the exact message. That, to me, is objectively weird in retrospect. Wasn't weird at the time, it's weird now. And it makes me think that Charlie may have been marked since he was a child. We've discussed these GATE programs that they have in school. And I just think on the basis of what he told me, that when he was really young, they wanted to drug him, but his mother said no, and he was really grateful for that. And instead, they decided that they could send him to this X-Men school. That's the best way I can describe it. I would certainly, by the way, for you internet sleuths, I'd like to find out which school.
Yes, guys, she did say X-Men school. Dr. Xavier. These are the things we're talking about when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Here's my thing with this. And this is why I said I might need to take a break. And why it's unfortunate that we've come to this point. Because with Candace, and I would say this to Candace, that I were having a conversation with her. A lot of this investigation and looking into Charlie Kirk is about and for a purpose. The purpose of finding out the truth, exposing what someone was lying about, understanding why certain people were moving the way they were moving. Realizing the people who were around Charlie Kirk may have not had the best intentions. That part of it, the logical part of it had a purpose and an intention. To me, what purpose does this conversation serve into finding out what happened to Charlie Kirk? Let's just say in theory that everything she's saying is true. And maybe some of it is true. Let's say Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. Let's say Charlie Kirk was marked from a child, someone came to his door, knocked on the door, and Charlie Kirk was like, yeah, I can talk to snakes. I can do special things. And then he goes away to a special school, the Hogwarts of 2026. Let's just say all of that is true. Who cares? What does that matter? What does that have to do into the investigation into Charlie Kirk's death? There was a real man that really died, time traveler or not, and predicted his own death and was a time traveler and went to a school for special kids. What does that have to do with Charlie Kirk's investigation? Would be my question. Maybe Candace is going to tell us. Maybe I should just shut up and keep listening. But it's all seems like a big distraction, and unfortunately is starting to lean more to the side of people who are saying maybe there were ulterior motives of covering this and going so much into this Charlie Kirk situation. Weird, man.
School Charlie had to attend. So he was pulled out of the regular school he was attending, and he had to go to some special school for the gifted, like he was an X-Man. And I am of the opinion, it's an opinion, I'm allowed to have it, it's obviously not a fact, but I am of the opinion, based on the discussions I had with him, that he's been monitored since. That his test scores, whatever the score, every test they probably did on him, he was off the charts, and they wanted to make sure that he was being watched. That's my theory in general on all kids that are in extraordinary and gate-type programs. Maybe we should be training our kids to get like an 85% on the test. At most, before the government agents are going to swoop in and go, who is this genius child, you know? And a lot of weird things used to happen to Charlie. He would go on runs. I think I told you guys this, after sundown. And when he was running, street lights would go out. Like it was like he was in a burst of energy, like he was a lightning bolt or something. So just.
Guys, when I first heard these clips, I thought it was AI. I said, there's no way this is real. I had to go look up the live stream. Candace is really saying this.
To slow this down for you, there are, just in general, all of these inexplicable experiences that we have in life, and they try to make it weird for us to discuss them. Like just even being philosophical and thinking about these things for a long time, they don't want that. Deja vu is probably chief among them. We all have experienced deja vu. We are certain something happened, but we already did that, but it didn't actually happen. You're like, but I feel like it did. Oof, I just got a bad case of deja vu. Well, guess what? There's no official expert explanation for that. Sleep paralysis, for those of us who suffer that, I had some terrifying experiences before I knew what it was. They don't really give us a full explanation for that. Similar, also, another example of things that are inexplicable and maybe somehow related to deja vu, the story of how I met my husband. I've told it many times, how I got engaged 18 days later. No one believes me. They don't want to accept it, except maybe Charlie Kirk, because he was there for it. But I already knew George. That's how I describe it. I saw his face. I know that doesn't make sense, but it happened that way. I looked at my husband's face and
All right, that's enough of that. Guys, listen. Again, I do believe in the supernatural. Many of you know I am a believer, follower of Christ. So I believe in things beyond what we can see and experience on this earth, are at power and working in this earth. I don't have a problem with that. I totally believe there's people out there that have gifts that can do certain things that aren't comprehensible to the human mind. But again, what does this have to do with Charlie Kirk getting killed? What does this have to do with the investigation into Charlie Kirk's death? Are we just completely pivoting from that and talking about X-Men now? It's just disappointing to me. And again, I have to call it fair. I have to be objective. I just can't help it. Maybe that's my gift. Objectivity. I cannot help it. When I see Turning Point USA propping up Charlie Kirk, hosting live streams on this video, posing a question as, what would Charlie think about this? And Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's weird to me. When I see Candace Owens having a live stream talking about, how did Charlie Kirk know he was going to die? Let's talk about the CIA and Project Looking Glass and him going to this X-Men school. It just bothers me. What purpose is this serving other than just having a conspiracy theory conversation using Charlie Kirk's name? I don't like it. I got to call it out here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and in the chat. I promise y'all, I didn't get a phone call. I've been trying to tell Turning Point USA to call me. They won't call me. I just need a little check. A couple million, I'm cool. We can handle this PR situation. Seems like Candace Owens backed off, so congratulations, Turning Point USA. You saved a couple of dollars by not hiring me for $2 million to handle your PR. But with that being said, I just objectively looking at this, it looks like what a lot of people were saying Candace is guilty of. I'm not going to call it that. I'm not going to use the G word. If you don't know the G word, you can look it up. But I just don't see the purpose. And it's unfortunate because Candace Owens, in my opinion, was really the only one who has been carrying this torch of looking into and finding out the truth. So again, maybe we're going to have to look somewhere else. We're going to have to start doing our own research and homework. I don't know. I want to know what y'all think, man. Shout out to all 3,000 of you that are in the building. Thank y'all for being here. And nearly half of you have liked the video. So if y'all could, please make sure that you like the video. It's free. I promise it won't hurt you. And it takes less than a second. You're going to have a good time on the show. All right. Just show some love and like the video. Kel Bell, the Honorable Attorney Kel Bell, is in here. Good to see you in here as always. Shout out to Samson. Make sure you tell Ray I said he's a good boy. And CPE's in the building as well. He said Candace Owens again. It's tough out here. It sounds like some type of movie that's been released. Oh, man. Mr. Brown says she's bugging. And again, even if to me, it's fun and cool to talk about, I think. But even if all of that is true, so what? Okay, there's secret and private schools out there to where they're picking kids who have these special abilities and these special talents, and they're sending them to the school so they can keep an eye on them. Okay, we're gonna shut down the schools. What's the point? I don't know. It's just this type of stuff bothers me, especially when, again, it doesn't serve a purpose. For someone who was so passionate about looking into what really happened to Charlie Kirk, I don't know how this ties in. But again, maybe I'm missing it. I'm with Mr. Brown. I think Candace is bugging. She's like, you know what? Let's throw this. Let's talk about conspiracy theories today. Anyway, we got another topic we're going to get into, which is very interesting. We've covered everything that happened with the Renee Good situation, the Renee Good shooting, the Renee Good murder, right? We saw the video. ICE officers, ICE agents were trying to do their job. Renee Good wanting to protest against what ICE is doing in her city, in her neighborhood, took her car, pulled it in the middle of the street, was blocking traffic. ICE agents tell her to get out. They start filming. There's a back and forth between Renee Good, her wife, partner. I don't know what they call it, whatever. Her Renee Good's partner, her wife. And then the ICE agent moves around the front of the car and he allegedly gets hit by Renee's car. He fires several shots into her vehicle. Renee is killed, crashes the car. And then ICE continues to do what they're doing. We're going to talk about that part a little bit later. Of course, there was outrage and more protest on both sides. You even had the mayor and the governor speaking out against the ICE agents. You've got support for the ICE agents, and it has been absolute chaos there in Minneapolis. So now we're actually hearing reports, and this isn't the first time I've heard this. There are some pictures out there. I don't want to share the pictures because there seems like they're not actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Verified. So we're not going to get into that, but it's looking like the agent that was hit by Renee Good actually may have been injured during this situation. So let's see what TMZ had to say here. Renee Good killing. DHS says the ICE agent suffered internal bleeding during this entire encounter. Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good while she was behind the wheel of a car in Minneapolis last week, reportedly suffered internal bleeding from their confrontation, according to the Trump administration officials. This is shocking and surprising to hear. Two unnamed U.S. officials told CBS Ross sustained an injury to his torso, but did not divulge how extensive the bleeding was. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed the report of injury to CBS News reports. And we can replay and go back and look at this video again. I think it's important because people's perspectives change as the conversation goes on. And I think we need to realize what actually happened and what went down here. This is the video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
There it is right there. That's the part that's going to be tough. And there's actually conversation about the wife facing charges as well. The drive baby drive. Oh! That's a no-no. You can't do that. Then, of course, the officer said what he said. Also not a crime, but interesting. As you know, Ross shot Good in traffic on a residential street in Minneapolis on January 7th. Good appeared to try to drive away from the scene. All right, TMZ. As ICE officers ordered her out of the Honda Pilot. Ross, standing in the front of the vehicle, fired shots at Good, fatally striking her in the head. Dang, I didn't realize he got a headshot. Video appears to show physical contact between Ross and the vehicle. Tuesday night, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche told Fox Digital News there is currently no basis for a criminal civil rights investigation. The incident was being investigated by the FBI. The Bureau excluded Minnesota state investigators from the case last week. The Trump administration maintains Ross shot Good in self-defense. In the aftermath of the shooting, GoFundMe campaigns have been launched for each party involved. The campaign for Ross has raised more than $700,000 since it launched over the weekend. The fundraiser benefiting Good's wife and son has surpassed over $1 million. It's unclear if Ross will be able to accept his donations, as federal government employees can't receive any supplementations to their salaries or compensation for their services, according to the U.S. Office of Government Ethics. Interesting. I wonder if can their families? I mean, that might be a loophole. Anyway, the events of January 7th are still under investigation. I want to know where you guys land on this. Obviously, we say innocent until proven guilty, but who does that refer to? Does it refer to the person who everyone is saying shot and killed this woman unjustly? Or does it refer to Renee Good? Is Renee Good innocent until she's proven guilty that she wanted to hit the officer? Well, unfortunately, she's dead. So we'll never really know if she intended to hit him. Is the ICE officer innocent until proven guilty of an unwarranted killing of Renee Good? Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. CPE said, shout out to CPA. He said, guy's named Todd. What did Todd do to you, man? What happened, CPE? Not Todd. I had a buddy of mine named Todd. He's a great guy. What happened? Why are we anti-Todds in here? What did Todd do? He said, don't play stupid games and you won't win stupid prizes. Hey, listen, I think we can all agree that everybody involved in this situation showed little to no restraint. Period. Because we're not talking about should haves and could haves. To me, this is a conversation of two people who didn't need to be in that situation. ICE officer, did he need to be in the front of the car? No. Did he need to be walking around the car? No. He didn't have to. Renee Good, did she need to be there? 1000% definitely not. Did she need to be sitting in the middle of the street honking her car? Absolutely not. No. Should she have driven towards the officer or driven away, whichever way you interpret it? Probably not. She probably should have just got out of the car and say, hey, point made. Should the officer have shot and killed her? Felt like his life was in danger. This car is driving at him at an accelerated speed, accelerating towards him, I should say. Should he have? Was it justified? Shout out to the Todds in the world, man. Out here shooting folks. Way to go, Todd. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, the lady did die, but I don't want to be insensitive, but it's hard not to, man. I wouldn't be in that situation. Dang. I won't be insensitive. All right. A lot of people are upset about this. Let's get to the next topic before I get canceled. We're going to talk about Mike McKee. And if you haven't been watching or been up to date on the story with Mike McKee, this is a man who was married to a woman named Dominique for 2 years. Mike McKee and Dominique went their separate ways. Dominique started a new family, got married, had a kid, had a 4 and a 1-year-old. And then allegedly she was either stalked, somehow found by her ex-husband, Mike McKee. He goes into her house, shoots her and her husband in their bedroom, leaves the kids alone. Police come, 911 gets called because Dominique's husband doesn't show up to work. Police are called to the house. Then, of course, someone calls 911 and they find them in the house. Police do their investigation, and through several ring camera footage and other footage, they figure out that the one who was most likely and is suspect number 1 in this case is Michael McKee. Now, he's got locked up. They won't let him out, and he made his first court appearance a couple of days ago. This is also going to give us a little bit of a background into what happened in this situation. Sad things. Y'all check it out.
Michael David McKee appearing in court for the first time today, charged with the murder of his ex-wife Monique Tepe and her husband, dentist Dr. Spencer Tepe.
On behalf of
Sad.
Mr. McKee, I will assert his right to counsel. I will assert his right to remain silent.
Columbus police say the 39-year-old was taken into custody without incident on Saturday in Illinois, 2 states away from where the murders occurred in Columbus, Ohio.
With prosecutors upgrading Michael McKee's charge to aggravated murder, he could be sentenced to life in prison or be given the death penalty.
Aggravated murder implies that this was premeditated. He drove 360 miles one way from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio.
That's crazy.
And so
He
my
knew what he
sense
was
would
doing.
be the police have found written documents, social media, things that he has memorialized that have convinced them that he had planned this for quite some time.
Police have not yet released a possible motive for the crimes. The 37 and 39-year-olds shot to
Jealousy.
death just 1 month before their 5th wedding anniversary.
Dang.
The
It's sad,
mystery
man.
surrounding the gruesome shooting deaths, rattling the community for nearly 2 weeks.
The urgent search for answers in the killings of a dentist and his wife in their home in Columbus, Ohio.
Folks in the neighborhood shocked by this news.
My heart just goes out to them. That's terrible to hear that happened, especially so close. It is a little bit worrying, but all I can think about is those kids.
Yeah, we've even had people who are from that neighborhood in the comment section saying that, yeah, they heard what happened, maybe saw some things going on, talked to the police. Sad.
It is a little bit worrying, but all I can think about is those kids.
What kind of person can take 2 parents away from such young children?
Evil
and
person.
just two beautiful people away from this earth.
It all began just before New Year's Eve.
We noticed nothing different. Everybody was in bright spirits.
Rob Misla is the couple's brother-in-law and spent Christmas with them just days earlier.
Everything just seemed totally normal like this. We were totally blindsided by what happened.
When Spencer didn't show up for work on December 30th, his boss asked police to do a wellness check.
He is always on time, and this is very out of character. And we can't get in touch with his wife, which is probably the more concerning.
This is the 911
They were
call.
concerned because they
Dang.
hadn't heard from their employee, didn't show up for work, and they were just concerned that maybe something was wrong with their employee.
Recently released body cam shows a Columbus police officer had gone to a different address than the Tepes, while responding to that 911 call about a wellness check around 9:15 a.m.
He spent about 10 minutes doing what he thought was appropriate, had it been the right house, knocking on the door, going around to the backyard, doing all the things that you would do in an effort to try to reach out to the family or to anyone that may have been in that home.
About a half hour later, concerned friends showed up and called 911 again.
So I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what.
Their 2 young children, a 1-year-old son and a
Hopefully they
4-year-old
didn't see
daughter.
anything.
They're at
Dang.
the home that had suddenly become a crime scene.
Oh, there's a body. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed.
Oh, by the way, it was a gunshot. They haven't recovered the murder weapon yet. So is it possible the kids didn't hear anything? It is possible. We don't know yet how many shots were fired. And again, the murder weapon has not been recovered. Sad, man.
Their parents dead. Spencer had been shot multiple times. Monique was found with at least one gunshot wound to the chest. The kids and the family dog unharmed. At the time, police did not believe it was a murder-suicide. There were no signs of forced injury. Police then releasing this eerie video, asking the public for tips about this person of interest walking in the alley near the Tepes residence. According to the complaint obtained by ABC Columbus affiliate WSYX, detectives eventually identified McKee, a surgeon, as a suspect through neighborhood surveillance. The suspect was tracked to a vehicle which arrived just prior to the homicide and left shortly after. Detectives identified the vehicle further and linked it to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and detectives found evidence of McKee in possession of the vehicle prior to and after the homicides. Spencer and Monique
was not
had been
trying
a
to hide
beloved
it.
part of the community.
Bright, warm, welcoming, constantly smiling, just joyous. They love to laugh. They love to be goofy.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
To their family and friends, they were deeply in love, hosting their wedding at their Ohio home in 2021.
It was just such a magic moment. It was kind of the uniting of two families. Those two brought people from different sides together, and they were just the glue.
According to court documents obtained by Columbus ABC affiliate WSYX, Monique and McKee were married on August 22, 2015. They had no children together, and Monique divorced him in 2017 on the grounds of incompatibility. Neither was ordered to pay spousal support.
Looking at the divorce, the most remarkable thing about it is that it's not remarkable. These were two people who were married for a very short period of time, didn't share any marital assets or money, and they pretty much split their divorce with whatever you brought in, you take with you.
If you look,
Sounds like jealousy. Sounds like regret. Stalker, maybe. What do y'all think happened? Let me know what you think in the comments in the chat.
And they pretty much split their divorce with whatever you brought in, you take with you.
if you look at what I'm going to call prior partner homicides, is that it's usually driven by anger, rage, jealousy, and revenge. If he is the correct suspect, this has been brooding in his mind for years.
McKee's neighbors back in Illinois stunned by the murder allegations.
I met him up at the pool. He did not seem like somebody that would do something like this. Of course, you never know. And how do you explain to a child that mom and dad are here one day and gone the next?
Yeah.
And those are the real victims of this whole case here.
He's currently being held at a jail in Illinois, awaiting extradition to Ohio. Now Monique and Spencer's families rallying around the couple's two children.
I want people to know that they're not just a dentist and his wife who were murdered. They were excellent parents of two young children.
The Tepes
Sad,
family
man.
releasing a statement after the arrest, saying in part, "Today's arrest represents an important step toward justice for Monique and Spencer. As the case proceeds, we trust the justice system to hold the person responsible fully accountable."
Funerals for the couple were held on Sunday.
Yeah, this
During the
last
extradition
weekend.
hearing, his Illinois defense attorney said that he invokes his right to remain silent and will be pleading not guilty once he's in Ohio. These are not formal pleas of not guilty, but we do get a sense that McKee will be fighting these charges.
I believe that the police and the prosecutor have more than just his car was close to Monique's house and then it returned to Chicago. Did they find writings in the apartment that he was going to do this or had done it? Did he say something online? Has he talked to a friend? There's all sorts of pieces of potential information that could put this case together.
Wow. Very sad. We're going to cover this playing out. I'll be interested to see how soon the trial takes place. Let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat, because why he did this, I think, is going to be very interesting. And we're going to hear a lot of information about that coming up here soon. Shout out to the gang, man. There's still over 3,000 of y'all in here, and almost all of you have liked the video. Thank y'all. I promise I won't ask again for the rest of the show. Shout out to Taco Tuesdays in here. He got lucky and missed the Candace Owens segment. I don't know. Me and CPE said we're contemplating going back to it because we know Taco Tuesday loves Candace Owens. On Candace, not sure anybody should even be promoting that discussion. America, you are in a tipping point. What? America's winning right now. What you talking about? A tipping point? Bro, ask me what other country I would rather be in. Go ahead. Somebody ask me. Ask me. Ask me what other country I would rather be in than the United States of America. Ah, man, we good. We good over here. People just getting mad. Just because people are mad doesn't mean we're at a tipping point. Right? Come on. Us law-abiding, everyday, regular citizens, we winning up in here. Okay, Amy said Mexico. All right, well, Amy, okay, listen. I mean, for a minute, okay, maybe for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Amy is correct. I would not mind being out there in Playa, okay? But hey, I'm talking about representing, okay? I love this country, man. The tipping point, no, we good. We good over here. People just, the stuff we're talking about, these are American problems. The rest of the world is like, hey, can we get some food? Can y'all tell them to stop dropping bombs over here? And we're talking about protesters and ICE agents. Man, stop it. I'm good. I'm good in America. I love it here. Tipping point. And don't get me started on Canada. Shout out to all my Canadians out there, but y'all don't want no smoke when it comes to comparing countries. God bless the USA. That's right. Let me see what else y'all are saying. Oh man, now Amy's got me thinking about Mexico. Why? Mexico, man. We need to get into this next topic because I'm all distracted now. So speaking of ICE, we got to talk about what's really happening with ICE, because yes, a lot of light has been shown on this Renee Good situation, what happened between her and the ICE officer, but ICE is there. They're there for a reason, and they actually are doing some work. And I want to talk about something that really hasn't been covered or discussed a lot because there's been a lot of distractions with the situation between Renee Good. So let's talk about what actually went down and what is actually going on in the majority of Minneapolis. So according to the New York Post, which pains me to say, but shout out to them, ICE nabs child abusers, drug traffickers in Minneapolis as 1,000 more immigration agents are set to deploy, and they're already there. Yeah, man, Mexico. Oh my gosh. ICE captured another round of illegal migrant criminals in Minneapolis over the weekend, including alleged abusers and drug pushers, as the largest ever operation of its kind will reportedly soon enforce up to 1,000 agents. Among those arrested and now slated for removal from the United States are a Somalian national with multiple arrests for credit card fraud and drug trafficking, a Mexican citizen previously arrested for child cruelty and battery, and an illegal alien from Thailand busted for processing 200 tablets of ecstasy, officials told the Post. I'm shocked that the New York Post is posting this kind of article, but hey, I guess they're being somewhat objective. Shout out to them. The Department of Homeland Security released the names and IDs of the last round of the worst criminal migrant offenders, as the largest immigration operation in Minnesota history is set to be even bigger, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The agency charged ahead with Operation Metro Surge, even in the face of the headwinds of the anti-ICE protesters emboldened by left ploys. Okay, here we go with the political part. Following last week's deadly shooting of Renee Good, who was killed when she veered her SUV into the path of an agent while attempting to flee after blocking the street. New York Post, what? Pick a side. Is the New York Post liberal or conservative? I don't know what they got going on. Either way, as rioters and sanctuary politicians demonized and attempted to obstruct our brave ICE law enforcement officer, they continue to remove the worst of the worst from Minnesota, said the Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. It's probably as pronounced. We will not let rioters or sanctuary politicians slow us down from arresting and removing the worst of the worst from Minnesota neighbors. Some 2,000 immigration agents have been deployed to the Twin Cities over the last week, the largest such enforcement operation ever in the region, netting hundreds of arrests so far. I mean, hey, are we going to give... Do y'all want these criminals in your city? I mean, two things can be true. ICE agents can be out here, maybe sometimes moving a little bit reckless, and they need to chill out. There have been cases of mistaken identity. Happens with the police all the time as well. But there are some things that they're doing good. People don't like it. Whatever. We're going to report on both sides here. But the surge of agents is still ramping up, according to sources cited by CNN, which say another 1,000 immigration officers are joining the effort. They need to get into Chicago. And then here's a list of actually some of the criminals that they arrested. We'll go through them, but I actually wanted to get into one specific case that I think is horrific, to see that this man is still not only in the United States, but he was allowed to be here. It's crazy. Here we go. Muhammad, we're just going to call him Muhammad, a criminal legal alien from Somalia, was arrested for multiple counts of credit card fraud, drug possession, and controlled substance possession and drug trafficking. He was issued a final order of removal in 2022, and he's been here for the past 4 years. We've got SS, we'll just call him. He has 3 prior convictions for selling amphetamines, as well as convictions for assault and contributing to a minor's delinquency. His final order of removal was issued in 2009. This guy's just hanging out. This man would still be here if ICE hadn't found him. We've got Ignacio Gonzalez de la Rosa in the U.S. illegally from Mexico. He was previously arrested for child cruelty and battery, and the list goes on and on and on and on. But the main one I want to get into is this disgusting human being. We call him human. This guy's a monster. ICE arrests convicted predator, I'm not going to say the word, who was allowed to roam free in Minneapolis because of Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry's sanctuary policies. This one is crazy. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers launched a targeted enforcement operation in Minnesota on December 31st to locate and apprehend Mahad something Yusuf, a criminal illegal alien and convicted offender from Somalia. Thanks to the sanctuary policies of Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry, this dangerous criminal was free to prowl the streets and victimize Minneapolis residents for years. And he's not the only one. Yusuf committed a series of horrific crimes, including a conviction for criminal, I'll just say it, sexual conduct in the first degree, where he forced his victims to perform certain types of sexual acts on him multiple times. He was also arrested in 2016 for assault in the first degree and has an active warrant from 2024 for obstructing police. He originally entered the United States in 1996 and was a lawful permanent resident. However, he threw away his shot at an American dream by repaying our country's generosity with these vicious crimes. ICE HSI arrested Yusuf at his Lake Street apartment. They had previously attempted to make his arrest, but the apartment manager obstructed the federal law enforcement agents by preventing them from entering the building and actively protected this known convicted offender. Y'all was protest. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Renee Good died for this guy. This is who you were willing to risk your life for. And guess what? If you had a bigger point, did you need to sacrifice yourself for it? Because all I'm saying is, hey, you wanted this guy to stay in your neighborhood. Local sanctuary policies and continued misinformation about what ICE operations actually entail continue to fuel the irresponsible, dangerous acts of obstructing law enforcement, said HSI Special Agent in Charge Mark Zito. Every time local jurisdictions refuse to cooperate with ICE, and every time activists use the ridiculous whistles and bullhorns to alert criminal aliens, they are helping violent offenders, including convicted predators like this one, escape justice. And this isn't the only one. Y'all saw the list. DHS has prioritized removing the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens as a part of the Trump administration's efforts to return law and order to the United States since January 20th of 2025. Department of Homeland Security enforcement operations have resulted in more than 60. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me read that right. 622,000 deportations. 70% of those illegal aliens arrested by ICE have prior criminal arrest or criminal convictions. This statistic does not account for those wanted for crimes in their home country or another country. Interpol notices that human rights abusers, gang members, and terrorists. Again, we could go on and on and on and on. I already mentioned to you guys the list of these people, and you can see their individual pictures here that were arrested and kicked out by ICE. So let's not lose focus. But you know what? Mayor Fry, he had something to say about this, and he's still just not happy with ICE in general. Check this out.
Let me get you on record if I can, Mr. Mayor. Do you support abolishing ICE?
I do not support abolishing ICE. However, I absolutely oppose the way that this administration is conducting themselves with ICE. Look,
be specific.
There are a number of entities presently, agencies
but
at the federal government.
But isn't that what your lawsuit is about?
That
Stopping
are
ICE
conducting
right
themselves. No, you should read the lawsuit. The lawsuit says that, hey, you know, ICE doing ICE stuff is not what we're talking about right now. Again, we've had ICE in our city before. We've had ICE in our state before. It is the fact that, look, right now, there's about 3,000 federal ICE agents in our city between ICE and Border Control. You know how many police officers that we have? 600. Right. The kind of duress that our city is experiencing because of this is magnified.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here.
Yeah, but let's ask a question. Are the protesters helping? Like, if you're going to have that conversation and your issue is the way ICE is moving, then there are ways to go about that. There are conversations to be had behind the scenes, but something needs to be said about these protests and the way a lot of these protesters are moving, because it's not going to end well. I know Greg Abbott down in Texas is not having it, and they've had a very short leash there for the way these protests are going. It'll be interesting to see what happens. There's more from Jacob Fry, but I'm tired of hearing from that guy. Like, you need to speak out and tell your people to do the right thing. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. Good morning to everybody just stopping by. Some of y'all on the West Coast. The West Coast is in the building. We got Kitty Cat in here. Good to see you. Oh, I missed Noah too. What's up, Noah? 2009 is 17 years ago. That's crazy. And I mean, again, we've got our own issues here as well. I don't think anybody's saying that Americans are perfect, because trust me, there are worse people running around that are Americans than that Somalian guy. But again, why allow someone who's not supposed to be in this country stay here, especially when they've committed these types of crime? We already got enough to deal with. We don't need any help. Dang. Y'all can take them back. Or I mean, it's wild, man. Wild out here. Good morning to the West Coast. Shout out to y'all over on the West Coast. Appreciate everybody stopping by. We are going to get into our main topic here in just a second. And this is going to be a fun one too, because I know y'all love Karen Reed and the gift that keeps on giving. This is somewhat Karen Reed focus, and we'll get into it here shortly. All groups of people have bad apples. Very true. Very, very true indeed. I think they're liberal. Oh, talking about the New York Post. I don't know what they got going on. It's just weird to hear them take this stance on ICE and immigration. It seems very objective. I thought that was my thing. I'm supposed to be the objective one, not the New York Post, because I've seen some of their titles and they be wild. Wild. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic. This is going to be a fun one. We've been following the saga of Commissioner Michael Cox and his straight lying to the media, lying to the general public, lying to the Commonwealth. He said, oh, I don't even know who Kelly Dever is. We got a lot of officers. I call people into my office all the time. Alan Jackson says, yeah, Commissioner Cox, you had conversations with the FBI about Kelly Dever's involvement in the Karen Reed case, and then you called her into your office the next day. It's not a coincidence, sir. He said, I don't want to talk about it. Y'all don't ask me any more questions about Kelly Dever or about Karen Reed. Well, fine. That's how you want to play it, Commissioner Cox. People are going to keep digging. And now we got Boston 25, who has not been letting up on this investigation into the commissioner, because we have a lawsuit we've covered here on the channel, specifically speaking to Commissioner Michael Cox allegedly telling someone who was on the police force there in Boston to bury some information about another officer. There's a full lawsuit out here now. We're going to talk about it. Check this out from Boston 25.
This officer is accused of strangling his ex-girlfriend, and now he's on administrative leave from the force. Boston 25 News reporter Ellie Morillo live in Norwood with the allegations, and a response, Ellie, from the officer's attorney.
Yeah, well, those charges are strangulation or suffocation and a separate charge for assault and battery. Now, the criminal complaint I have here in my hand states that this happened just a few days before the new year. Officer Alexandre's lawyer tells me he denies these allegations and he looks forward to clearing his name.
At the end of the day,
Law enforcement expert Todd McGee says it's critical these allegations are fully investigated.
these types of allegations still lend themselves to be viewed as a domestic incident.
The criminal complaint alleges that Officer Ricardo Alexandre placed both hands around a woman's neck and applied pressure during an intimate encounter, preventing her from breathing back on December 28th. She told officers they began dating in September and that she did not consent to choking. The woman told police she hid his car keys after the incident because she was concerned, alleging that Alexandre's drinking has worsened after his mother's passing. BPD confirmed with Boston 25 that Officer Alexandre is on paid leave. Commissioner Cox addressed the allegations on Tuesday.
He was placed on administrative leave immediately. We reported at the Post. They took away his accreditation, and that's.
Yeah, again, if y'all can't hear because of the commotion, he said, oh, yeah, he was placed on administrative leave immediately. No, we're going to let him live. Now, is this related to the other case? We'll get into that in a second.
So no, it's a criminal process that he has to go through, but we'll be doing our own internal affairs investigation.
The complaint says the officer came back to the victim's home the next day. That's when the woman called police after she says she was concerned for her safety. Alexandre was later arrested by Norwood police. From January of 2021 through September of 2025, 39 officers were either disciplined, decertified, or suspended by the commission that certifies officers following an incident that involved some form of domestic violence, including 6 Boston police officers.
They will interview all of the parties in this particular case. They will speak with the girlfriend, the officer that the charges have been levied against. And also they may extend their investigation to speak to any eyewitness accounts, any neighbors that may have heard anything loud or anything unusual. And that would be a part of the fact finding.
Yeah, she said he was being a little too rough. All right. I mean, hey, it happens sometimes. Either way, now let's actually get into this lawsuit that Michael Cox is named in. And yes, this was brought against the commissioner. Here we go.
A Boston police deputy superintendent suing police commissioner Michael Cox. In a new lawsuit, Marcus Edding says Cox demoted him after he told the commissioner he uncovered dozens of cases of fraud involving pay details. In the suit filed in Suffolk Superior Court, Edding says Cox told him to bury the evidence because he didn't want the department to suffer, quote, another black eye. Dang. Edding says there's evidence that the fraud involved 43 officers. He says he continued his investigation even after Cox told him to stop, and that's when he says he was stripped of several positions in the department and demoted from superintendent. BPD declined to comment on pending litigation.
Oh, yes. Well, we're going to comment on it for you because we've got the full document here. Shout out to Amy, posted this over on X. If y'all don't follow her on X, make sure you do at IAMYLEIGH on X, at IAmyLee on X. She posted the full document, and you know we have to get into it here and see what they're saying Commissioner Michael Cox did. We have Marcus Eddings, and there has been an interview, I believe, of Marcus Eddings. I'm gonna have to see if I could find it to refresh y'all's memory. And this is, of course, versus the city of Boston, the Boston Police Department, Commissioner Michael Cox in his personal capacity and his capacity as a commissioner of the Boston Police Department. What happened? This civil action is brought on behalf of Marcus Eddings. He's going to be referred to as Eddings or the plaintiff moving forward against his employer, the Boston Police Department or the department, and the agency of Boston, the city, and in violation of the Massachusetts Whistleblower Act and against BPD's police commissioner, Michael Cox, for tortious interference with a contract. Interesting. Eddings, then a superintendent of the Boston Police Department tasked with monitoring paid details and court overtime with the goal of eliminating fraud and preventing reoccurrences of well-publicized scandals relating to the BPD's evidence management unit, and paid details, investigated and reported to his supervisors, including Commissioner Cox, that he had ultimately uncovered 43 officers to have been involved in the paid detail fraud. Hey, yo, Tony, clock me in. I'm going to get some lunch. Not great. Which consisted of a total of 693 total violations, with 20 officers involved in 46 violations that were referred to the BPD's anti-corruption division, and 25 officers involved in 647 violations that were referred to BPD's internal affairs. Listen, is anybody surprised in this? Let me know in the comments if you're surprised that this is happening. Do you think this is the first time this is happening? Do you think this hasn't been going on for a long time? I mean, come on, man. It's the BPD. They can't get it together. Many of these violations that Eddings uncovered were supported by video documentation that he submitted to his superiors, including Commissioner Cox. Uh-oh. When Eddings first brought his findings that several officers had engaged in paid detail fraud to Commissioner Cox, Cox told Eddings that pursuing this further paid detail investigation would cause another black eye for the department, and that Cox did not want to mess up his legacy. I hope he has evidence to prove that. I highly doubt that he does. At this time, another BPD official told Eddings that the department could not realistically fire 15 to 25 officers. He said, "We ain't got the money. It's like Fulton County over here. We can't keep people staffed. We got to keep them." Just tell him, Tony, you can't be clocking people in when they're going to lunch. I know there's no way that we have Nathan Wade on this police force. Nobody was working 27 hours a day. All right, just chill out, Tony. All right. Despite these statements, Eddings continued to investigate paid detail fraud and uncovered officers. As a result of this, his continued reporting of paid detail misconduct, Eddie was stripped of several positions at BPD and demoted from superintendent to deputy superintendent. I don't think this is fair. I mean, couldn't Michael Cox have just brought him into his office and said, "Hey, Mr. Eddings, Officer Eddings, I just need you to do the right thing," right? He could have done that. This would have problem solved, just like he did with Kelly Dever. Maybe say, you have a false memory. The FBI, they're going to let it go. False memory, you're fine. All right, we've got the parties here. We're not going to get into too much. We know what's going on. Jurisdiction and venue, statement of facts. This is where it gets good. Throughout his storied career at the BPD, Plaintiff Eddings rose through the ranks to become a superintendent of the department in 2019. His responsibilities in this role included blah, blah, blah. Upon becoming a commissioner of the BPD and having worked with Eddings in the past, Cox assigned plaintiff additional major responsibilities that included leading accreditation efforts with the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies and Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission, the MPAC, they probably call it, automating the paid detail unit and coordinating the Internal Association of Chief of Police Convention. Interesting. So this is something I want to point out here, because it says Commissioner Cox assigned the plaintiff to automating the paid detail unit, which to me, it sounds like maybe Eddings had an idea or a sense of what was going on. Maybe he saw what's happening inside BPD, and he was maybe getting a little nervous. Said, listen, I don't want this to come back on me. So I got to say something to protect myself. Especially since he worked with Commissioner Cox before. Again, this is assuming all this is true, even though it's Commissioner Michael Cox. I mean, he's innocent until proven guilty in this one. Beginning around the time of Cox's appointment as commissioner of the Boston Police Department, Eddings began to discuss with Cox his investigation of the paid detail fraud in the department. Cox discouraged Eddings from pursuing the paid detail fraud investigations, cautioning that further scandals could give the department a black eye and tarnish Cox's legacy as commissioner. Well, too late for that. Nevertheless, Eddings continued to report to Cox and others at the BPD instances of officers committing paid detail fraud, including by continuing to issue written investigation reports of this misconduct. In retaliation for Eddings' continued reporting of the paid detail fraud, on January 20th of 2024, Cox issued an order demoting Eddings from superintendent to deputy superintendent. Why? What was the reason? Defendants accordingly demoted Eddings in retaliation for his protected whistleblowing activities on January 20th of 2024. So here are the counts. Count 1, Massachusetts Whistleblower Act. He should be protected. We won't get into that. We ain't lawyers. We've got the tortious interference with advantageous relations. All right, now they're making me work for this. Jury demand. The plaintiff requests a trial by jury on all of his claims. Wow. Plaintiff's prayer for relief. What does he want? He finds that the defendants have unlawfully retaliated against the plaintiff. Yeah, that makes sense. They find that the defendant and Commissioner Michael Cox engaged in torturous interference with advantageous relations against the plaintiff. Reinstate the plaintiff to the position of superintendent at the BPD. Bro, come on. Just ask for some money and retire, dude. Why would you want to be back there? This is the thing I don't get. Michael Proctor, Mr. Eddings here, Marcus Eddings, why? Why do you want? I get it was probably a good job and you don't know what you want to do. Just go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. I never get this one. Why do you want to go back to a place? Award the plaintiff with all compensatory damages under the law, including but not limited to damages for lost income or diminished income, pain and suffering, emotional distress, and reputational harm. Okay. Award the plaintiff all punitive damages available under the law. Issue injunctive relief as necessary to ensure the plaintiff's compliance with the state whistleblower protection laws. Award attorney's fees and costs, and order such other relief as the court deems just and proper. Of course, that's signed by his attorney, Jack B. What do y'all think about this, man? Why in the world would you want to go back to this job? I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see. Of course, we're going to follow it. We may see a settlement in this again, especially if we're trying to avoid black eyes. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. Michael Cox, man, at some point, you can't keep dodging these bullets. Sheesh. Thank y'all for the love, man. Shout out to the gang, everybody up in here supporting. This is crazy. He's like, oh yeah, and I want my job back. Let it go, man. Another domino from the many rehome cops in Massachusetts from the fallout of Karen Reed. Karen Reed's fingerprints are all over BPD, MSP. Yeah, the spotlight's on them now. They better act right. That is criminal. It's a gang. Call Fannie Willis. It might bring a RICO. I don't know. Violation of policies and procedures, foregoing signatures or signing for others. Changing times and dates, misconduct is rampant, taking bribes. I'm not surprised, man. It's the BPD. He wants his name and character respected again. That's not going to happen. He's a snitch. But who? Come on. In Boston, that might maybe get you respect somewhere else. You think they respect a snitch cop in Boston? Please, I don't think they respect a snitch cop hardly anywhere. They're not going to be like, hey, buddy. Hey, Marcus. Good job, boy. I'm so glad you called out Commissioner Cop. Man, get out of here. Good luck finding a partner. He has meetings with street cops and with no union rep. Yeah, man. Go do something else. Just ask for a ton of money and retire, Marcus, because why would you want to be back there? Even your friends are going to be looking at you like, come on, man. Marcus, why? You should just let it go. Either way, we're going to get up out of here. Thank y'all for the love. Thank you to the nearly 300 of you that liked the video. Y'all, please like the video on your way out. It is free. It's free. And it really does help us out a lot. Of course, we're going to be live tomorrow. We might even go live on Saturday. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Thank you to everyone who went the extra mile and sent in super chats as well. Thank you to Mary for becoming a new member. And as always, y'all know what to do. Have a great rest of your day. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace. See y'all on the next one.